Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the December 17, 2025 meeting of the Daytona Beach City Commission. We are happy to have you with us tonight. Madam Clerk, may you please read the roll call?
Vice Mayor Cantu.
Here.
Commissioner Henry. Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner Paris.
Here.
Commissioner Strickland.
He's got to open him up.
Okay.
I said here.
Okay. Commissioner May. Here. Mayor Derek L. Henry.
Commissioner May, would you make a motion to allow for change
Could
of
Commissioner Strickland please join us virtually?
And would you also
Excuse them. The mayor from attending this meeting.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We did. She second. That's okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 4, which is approval of the minutes of the November 5th, 2025 shade meeting of the City Commission meeting.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Reed. Do we have any questions regarding the minutes?
I'd like to abstain because I wasn't there.
Okay.
Okay.
Need to do anything?
I don't know if she's
I don't
allowed to abstain.
I'm sorry.
You have to
You
vote.
can't, you have to vote
You
under
have
the
to vote.
sunshine law.
Even if I wasn't there?
You have to vote.
had
There's
them
no
to read,
basis
so-
to abstain because of your non-attendance. The sunshine law requires you to vote.
How can I vote on something if I wasn't there to approve the minutes on something?
The sunshine law requires it.
I think it's because we still got them. We had a chance to peruse them, to see them. So you weren't there, but you've had access to what took place.
Okay. Okay, so we have anyone else have any questions? Okay, so we have approved by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Reed. All in favor, let it be known by saying A.
Aye.
Aye.
And opposes the same sign?
No.
No. So that would have been 5 to 1. We now will move on to item number 5A, agenda approval. If there's any changes, the city manager will read them at this time.
Yes, Honorable Vice Mayor, Commissioners, we're adding, prior to all of the presentations, comments by Andy Holmes, whose last meeting is tonight. We're adding to the presentation 6B, presentation by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We're pulling item 8A, permits and licensing department, Samsula demolition, 612 and 614 East International Speedway Boulevard. Add item 8L, zone support funds, to the consent agenda from Commissioner Danette Henry, $500 for Hope Place for their Head Start program of Halifax Urban Ministries. That concludes the changes. Oh, excuse me. Also, we want to make sure that in the consent agenda, the reflecting the changes from our CRA meeting for 6B and 6C will be updated based off the changes for closing costs from the commission.
I move that we accept the agenda with the said changes.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Reed, second by Commissioner May.
Paris.
Paris, sorry. With those changes, do we have, oh, we already did that. Is there any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying A.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposes, same side. The agenda has been approved by 6 to 0.
Okay, so I'd like to invite Deputy City Manager Andy Holmes to the podium.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, many of you are aware that Andy Holmes has decided to retire after about 40 years of working, but about 7 or 8 years here. So I wanted to give him the opportunity, asked if he could have the opportunity to share with the commission and the community.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Vice Mayor and Commissioners. Just really wanted to come in and say thank you. I've really appreciated the opportunity that you all gave me to serve here for about the last seven and a half years, maybe. And just wanted to say I've really enjoyed working here, working with you all. I appreciate your extension of trust that enables us to be successful. When you fund projects, that's an extension of trust to the staff, and I want you to know that we notice that and we take that seriously, and we really appreciate that. Also want to thank my coworkers. You can't do this job alone. You can't. You just can't. There's 300 people in the division that I help manage, and we have a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day operation. And that happens because of all the dedicated employees that are out there. I get to stand here and talk about it, but they're out there actually doing the work day to day. And I appreciate that. If I name names, I'll probably leave some out, so I'm not going to do that. And I don't like making long speeches anyway, but thank you so much for everything and best wishes for the future.
And Andy, I just would like to say, and I know I've already called you personally also, to tell you thank you for everything you've done. You've really helped me along the way as well.
Thank you.
So thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Andy Holmes, thank you for making me a mini engineer in my own mind, and you answered all my questions, even after I asked them twice, 3 times, 4 times, but I just appreciate you, and thank you very much, and best of luck. And I still have your cell phone number, so.
Thank you very much.
We will miss you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Commissioner Henry?
Thank you for your service to your community, to all of the people that have worked under and above you. We appreciate you. You've been such a gracious, kind-hearted person. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You're a kind-hearted person. And I always say that about you. He's such a kind-hearted person. And that's a good trait to have. I'm going to miss you.
Mr. Holmes, thank you so much. Always considerate, always informative, all right? Always very precise with clear information. That's appreciated. While we will miss you, you know what? We hope for you the best. We hope that as you move forward, you have a fantastic life. It's well-deserved, and that you have many more adventures. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. It means a lot.
I know y'all not used to me being emotional. Oh, but he's a good one. We're losing a good one. Andy has served this city to the best of his ability. He has gone above and beyond. All the more reason why he got promoted to be the assistant city manager. He has answered our questions, regardless of how many times we've asked. He has explained over and over again. He has held us in the highest of regards, even when we may have not treated him the best. I know you have a higher calling, and I respect that. And I wish you the best, and I'll keep you both in prayer. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to continue on with our presentations. Item 6A is a presentation of the Quilts of Valor.
Now that I got the microphone, let me tell you a few things about Andy Holmes. I'm just kidding. I wish I was him. For those that don't know, the Quilts of Valor is an organization that gives out quilts to veterans of the armed services, and we wrap them. We're going to call some up here, but in front of me or with me here today is Sue Martin. She's one of the Quilts of Valor quilters that works throughout the country that puts these all together. She's currently on the Sunshine Valor Quilter Group and leads that group. Sue, would you like to say a few words for us?
So I just wanted to say 2 things. First of all, I feel grateful to live in Volusia County. I've been here 14 years. We started the Quilts of Valor in Brevard County, the Sunshine Valor Quilters, and we've been blessed with a lot of people. I am an Air Force person. served 5 years, medically discharged. I am a retired RN nurse. I'm a flight nurse. But I get it. And what we are trying to do now in Volusia County, that's the only county that I'm able to work with, is it's not that you have been touched by war. You are a veteran. Doesn't matter. You are a vet. It doesn't matter. You are a veteran. If you served 1 day in the service, you are a veteran. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Sue. And for those that don't know, we have many employees that come to us that have prior military service. We've given out 67 quilts to date, including the ones we're going to give out today, and we got about 40 more to go. For those that don't know, Commissioner Cantu has been leading this charge to make sure all city employees that served in the military get their quilt of valor, and we've been doing this for the last several years now. So with that, we're going to put out award some quilts tonight. I've gotten a lot of last-minute cancellations. I apologize for that. We got a couple that are stuck out on the road and can't get off a call to come in. A lot of the folks that served in the military also now serve in our public safety and our first responders. We have utility workers. We're going to invite some of those up tonight. But tonight, let's go to the first one. And I'm sorry if he's not here. I haven't seen him. Justin Huckabee. They're in right order. Justin Huckabee, are you here? Justin, for the record, even if he's not here, he's currently a police officer. He started here in 2012. He was in the Marines. He served between 2003 and 2023. And when he was separated from his military service, he was an E6 staff sergeant. Give it up, even though he's not here, give it up for Justin Huckabee, everybody. Our second quilt tonight is going to go to Carl Wexelberg. Carl, come on down. Carl is here. Carl is a code and compliance inspector. He started with the city in April of 2023. He served from 1980 to 1996 in the Army Reserve. When he separated service from the military, he was a captain of Battalion Operation Officer S3 when he left. Carl, congratulations. They're going to wrap you. They're going to take a picture of you. Yeah. We'll make sure we get the pictures to you. Yep, and then we're going to get a picture of all of y'all together.
Let me fold it back because I don't want it on the ground.
Oh, then they're gonna take a picture for the final picture. All right, next one we're gonna call up is Richard Young. Richard, come on down. Richard is a police sergeant currently with the Daytona Beach Police Department. He started in 2010. He served in the Army, 2 stints, 2000 to 2005 and 2006 to 2008. And when he separated service, he was a sergeant E5. Thank you for your service, Richard. Get in there, Sue.
And can we get his wife up here again?
Sure, come on.
Absolutely, why not?
All right, congratulations. All right, next quilt goes to Frank Barnick. Frank is a licensed water plant operator. He started here in 2001. He served in the Army between 1982 and 1985, and when he separated service, he was a Specialist 4. Congratulations, Frank, and thank you for your service. You getting in there, Sue? Get it. Get it. All right. I don't know if any of the others are here. Justin Yoel. Justin, are you here? Justin is a senior traffic signal technician. He started here in 2016. He served in the Air Force between August of 06 and August of 12. When he separated service, he was a senior airman E4. Justin, are you here? Give it up for Justin anyway. Thank you for your service, Justin. We'll make sure they get their quilts for those that couldn't be here this evening. Tariq Hassami is next. He actually sent me an email. He is literally on a call as we speak. He is a police officer. He started here in 2014. He served in the Marines between 2009 and 2014, and when he separated rank, he was a Corporal E4. Give it up for Tariq Hassami. William Stone, or was William Stone here this evening? He's a traffic maintenance worker 1. He's been with the city since 2022. He served in the Army between 1988 and 1996, and when he separated rank, he was a private E2. Give it up for William Stone. I don't guess he was able to make it here. Christmas is a tough time of year, I think. Okay, Stone 8. All right, next, they couldn't be here. Fire department, a driver engineer, Victor Erland. Victor started with the city in 1999. He served in the Navy between 1995 and 1999, and when he separated service, he was a petty officer, 3rd class E4. Give it up for Victor Erland. And then our last quilt for this evening was going to be going to Robert Turner. He is unavailable tonight. He is a battalion chief at our fire department. He's been here since 2000. He served in the Navy between 1991 and 1993, and when he separated rank, he was an E3. Thank you for your service, Robert Turner. And I called William Stone. Did I call William Stone? Yep. That's all of our quilts tonight. Thank you. Let's get a picture of all 3 of them. Like I said, I'll make sure we get the quilts to the other recipients.
Dr. May, Commissioner Paris.
Just move the chair to the side.
Just move it right here.
All right, thank you, everybody.
I need you guys to turn around.
Yeah, they want a back
Yeah,
shot.
Well, it's Valor, the state coordinator, I'm sorry, guys.
All right, and 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, everybody. That concludes our Quilts of Valor presentation.
Thank you.
This was the presentation that was added tonight for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Do you have?
Good evening.
Good
Good evening.
Happy holidays. I'm Jim LeGrone. I'm the project manager for the Army Corps of Engineers, and I'm going to brief you all on the Hurricane Flood Management Study project that we've been working on. Last time I briefed you all was about 18 months ago. That's been some time. During that meeting, we were kind of saying there was a lot of challenges, and it has been, but we're really close. So to no further ado, unless you guys got any questions, I'm very thankful to be here and to present this. So we're going to be kind of talking in three different areas. So I'm going to provide some breakpoints, and some of these are going to be some of the breakpoints to see if there's any questions. Okay?
Okay.
So first, I'm going to kind of talk about the regional and study area setting. It's very important to kind of get a good idea what's going around regionally, and then I'm going to focus in on the study area around the Nova Canal watershed. Next, I'm going to be talking about future without project results. Basically, future without project is we're trying to model what would happen in future cases on what the study area would be. And once we understand that and we provide measures or alternatives, then we can see how better those will run. Lastly, I'm going to kind of go through the array of alternatives on that. So without further ado, I'm going to go in the region area. So this is your typical break slide. So I have two images over here. The one on the left shows the ridges and terraces, what we call geomorphology. So within Volusia County, you have 4 terraces, and terraces represent sea level rise at a particular time period. When you see the Talbot Terrace, which is right there, you got the DeLand Ridge, and then next to it, you have the Reamer Ridge. So when the Talbot Terrace was at a particular sea level rise, then you have the Pamlico Terrace, which is still in that same slide. That was formed at a different sea level period. And the ridge, Reamer Ridge, which you see next to it, is very important for us to kind of understand. So I'm going to really get into that in the next slide. So the study area, Daytona, is where the star is. And so really, the study area is kind of located at the Silver Bluff Terrace, which had about 5 to 8 foot of sea level rise. The image to the right is all the watersheds that we have here and there are about 16 of those. I'm checking my notes to see if I'm covering everything. And so that's kind of the regional approach. So let's just kind of look at this map. This map was developed by USGS in 1968. And so members, before I said that there was 16 defined watersheds. Here it shows 18. So there's been some further refinement and some changes. But what's really important here is to kind of understand is the green, or where the numbers are actually showing down or they're different, is draining towards the coast, whereas the yellow drains towards the St. Johns River. The only one, the exception of that, is what we call the DeLand Ridge watershed, and that's more of a karst, or basically it drains down. So the one area that was of interest is the study area 16, and that's the Halifax watershed, which has a composite, which we'll show over here, is the Halifax watershed is now composed of the Nova watershed, where the study area is located at, and the Halifax watershed. What's really important here is you got these two images, and I know the orientation changes it around, but I really wanted to maximize this slide because the top image shows the watersheds. So to the right, you have Tomoka River, one of the largest watersheds in Volusia County that drains to the north. And you can see where it says Tomoka State Park. I can kind of point that over here, but you can see it on the right where it says Tomoka River. Most of you all know where this is. My team didn't. My team didn't really understand all this, so we had to go from the top down, kind of like an upside down wedding cake. So the area, again, the study area is in the yellow area. So that's where we're kind of focusing on. So in between where you see on the top image, you'll see this dots where it says Daytona International Airport. And then below is a digital elevation model that the county provided to us. It's a very good model, and this is a bigger size model than what we used to model the watershed, but it gives you a good idea of the ridges and runnels that comes in here. So on the bottom screen, I'm kind of showing the Nova Canal, right? The Nova Canal has 11th Street Canal to the north, Reed Canal to to the left, and Halifax Canal. And what you know, which we didn't know, is you don't have a direct connection to the Halifax River like Holly Hill does, South Daytona, or Port Orange. Okay, so that's kind of the regional setting. So now I'm going to kind of go to this to kind of focus in on the study area itself. Study area is bounded by the two north and south, Bellevue Road and Orange Avenue, Ridgewood Avenue, and Nova Road. Take note that Ridgewood Avenue was actually built on the Silver Bluff Bridge, and you'll see the Atlantic Coastal Ridge to the left. What's important to Atlantic Coastal Ridge is the Navy Canal. Now, the Navy Canal was constructed when DoD owned it or leased the land back in the 40s for the DeLand Naval Air Station. And they created this canal to drain the eastern region of that airport. Now, currently, where you see the B-19 canal, it drains most of the airport, while the other portion of the airport is drained by the Tomoka watershed. So it kind of gives you a really good regional understanding. So I'm going to go back one slide. So if you go to the Tomoka watershed, that water drains to the Halifax. So you're bounded by the Ponce Inlet to the south and Matanzas Pass to the north. Matanzas Pass is very occluded, so most of the water that's ever generated here that's going out to Ponce Inlet. That includes the Tomoka River watershed, that includes the Nova Canal watershed, as well as the other watersheds, B-19 and Spruce Creek. So I'm going to go back just so that you can kind of see those images. You see on the bottom right, Spruce Creek, Tomoka River, and then I'll go back to the slide where you see 17 is actually Spruce Creek, 18 is actually Tomoka River. So this study that was done in the 60s is really important. Why do we go back? Because the folks that did this work have really did a lot of work, and this is a graphic before computers. So I really liked it. I thought it was kind of a neat graphic, and I pitched this to my SAD counterparts. So before I go to Future Without project, are there any questions associated with regional geomorphology or the study area in general before I move forward?
Anyone have any questions? No.
Okay,
Move
great.
forward.
So I'm going to keep going. So I briefed this slide the last time I was here 18 months ago. Nothing, I'm not saying nothing has changed, but we've completed the existing conditions, which I'm going to be talking about in the next slide. And we also completed the Future Without project conditions. We're ready to go with agency technical review. And what that means is we're sending all our models up to folks that have been working on the whole United States to see if our concept, the model is correct. So I'm going to be getting to that. Now, that chart off to the right, it's hypothetical. But, you know, if you go to a Thai food restaurant, they say, what's your spice level, right? So 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, right? So think about flooding, right? So we gave it a 5 for flooding around here just for talking purposes. So if we do existing conditions and we construct a project where you can see that line is how's that flooding going to be compared? It's always going to flood, right? Nothing's going to happen. And then we're going to produce 2 measures. And here's the kicker. We're never going to eliminate flooding in this region. Never will. It's near impossible. Sorry, that's going to be the truth of it. And I'm really going to talk more about this in a few coming slides. So when we say 3 or 2, you'll have flooding. We're going to try our best to remove problematic flooding, meaning flooding that's going to prevent emergency vehicles crossing over Nova Road because the Navy Canal, and I'm going to go back up, because the Navy Canal is overflowing into the Nova Canal and spills over it. And I'll get into that in just a bit, but here's the results. So this is the modeling aspect. It gets very nerdy at this point, which I get excited. Sorry, I'm just a dork here, and that's who I am. So what we did was the image to the right, and you'll see a bunch of crosshash, red lines. So you'll see the more detailed digital elevation model, which shows the ridge lines and the greens and everything else. So what we did is we went outside, we went within the Nova Canal watershed and modeled the Nova watershed as well as the Halifax boundary condition, which you can see here. And when we did this, we used some high water marks. So there's 2 things to kind of talk about here. We need we first wanted to find out what was the rainfall. So we do this, what we call a hydrologic storm creation, meaning how much rainfall did it occur. So luckily for us, the city captured a couple of points, which you can see on Hurricane Milton. So we used Hurricane Milton as a way to calibrate the watershed and how much flooding occurred. So once you have the rainfall event, then you put it into a different model and it runs how that rainfall will create flooding. This is a kind of a big situation. So what the city folks that we've been working with asked us to kind of put in, what does a rainfall mean for Hurricane Milton? So we put that measure down there, 9.1. What was Hurricane Ian? Ian, was a big storm, right? You guys had a lot of it, so you can see it was 13.1 inches of rain. So I'm going to go to this slide. I'm going to kind of just let you look at it for a little bit before I go back to the next slide. So part of this is what you see here is 100-year model results. Now, that doesn't mean just rainfall. So what we're talking here on this slide that I'm showing is rainfall. The next slide, this slide here, is flooding. So
Can I pause you for just 1 minute, sir? I thought I heard Commissioner Strickland try to say something or ask a question. Was I mistaken?
Yes, you were. I
Okay.
was just coughing and hacking.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I would love to have questions after I get through those little break parts if we can do it, because then I lose my train of thought, and oh boy, that's dangerous. Let me see where I'm at on that. Oh, good. I'm slide 10. Yeah. So really here is how much rainfall and what's the flooding. So this is a 100-year flood that you're seeing here. And of course, you can see the dark blue, that's Butts Pond. And, it's a great recreational area, but you can see how it all floods, right? This is something you guys see all the time. But I can tell you on this team side, we finally understand the problem, right? Because part of any problem solving, you've got to shift your natural tendency of saying, what the heck, or blame, attack, and go and focus, resolve. And what we did is we focused on the problem, and we're understanding it. And so we're coming up with measures. And so we're going to be working with the city on some of these measures that we could put into a tentative selective plan. But I'm going to go to the next slide. So I'm going to kind of talk in, this slide here, where you'll see stars. And so by Carolyn Village, you'll see it's 28 inches of flooding that's occurring there, right? Hibiscus Park, you'll see it's 17 inches of flooding there. This is a 100-year rainfall event, but this is a flooding amount. On the bottom right, I didn't have a chance to change that, but that's Fairway Estates, right? And that's 19 inches. So the next slide is I'm going to talk about damages. So all those little dots you see there are homes. And it's kind of what we would call a heat map, so to speak. So the red would represent flooding at a 2-year event, whereas the light blue would represent flooding at a 100-year event. So you can see there's oranges and stuff over there by Caroline Village and Hibiscus Park a little bit, and you see more yellows and blues there, but you see a lot more like light blue to navy, not so much navy and purple, right around where the Fairway Estates are. So that, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but now we're starting to get it. And so a part of this economic model run that we're doing is we're going to run some more scenarios to come up with an annual equivalent of damages, meaning let's just say I'm going to throw numbers out that still haven't been validated, and I'm going to use a simple number called $10 million. So let's just say on an annual equivalent, it will be $10 million. So there's a possibility of in 50 years, you got $10 million on that. It could be a lot more, but that value could drop significantly. So we're still trying to perfect that. But what we have now is the capability of going through the measures of the 22 measures that I talked about the last time I was here. So I think this is the last slide of this, and that's a lot of information. So I'm going to break for questions on that. It's a lot of information.
Does anyone have any questions? Commissioner Paris?
Yeah. Yeah, you're ready, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Merry Christmas, man. I'm excited to be up here. Go ahead.
Commissioner Paris?
Jim, I'm so excited that you're excited. I want to know, are there any preliminary recommendations that we could act on now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
So I'll get at the end where I kind of talk about where our next moves are, because I want to be back here in the city commission sometime in February where I'll have more results, where we get through our ATR or agency technical review to kind of say, here's where we're going, here's where we think we're going to go before we actually pull into what we call a tentative selective plan. So we're still in the planning phases.
Okay.
Any other? Okay,
Go ahead,
Grant,
proceed.
thank you. Next slide. Alternative formulations, like when I was here before, this was what I pitched before on the alternative. We got 22 alternatives, right? Like, how the heck are you going to model that? So when they're modeling, right, they're modeling the existing structures. They got 8 storms there, and then they have another with hypothetical. This will take too long. So what we do is we reduce our alternatives by having basically 30% cost, saying what does this cost here compared to the damages that we're seeing there. And if the costs are too high or the BCR is like below 1, is questionable. If it's below 0.5, we throw it out. So that's pretty much what you see here. So I'm going to be going over one of these where you can see in a dark blue here called gate structure and pump station. But we have removed a lot of measures or alternatives. We still have a combination. Part of the thing is when I say combination, we could take, say, gate structure, maybe put in raising canals. There's a lot of other things we're still working out. And it's all associated with the damages. And so when you see buyouts, right, you guys just had a really good, fun conversation on buyouts. That's going to be one of the things we're going to be looking at is voluntary buyouts versus mandatory buyouts, right? That's still on the table. And that's going to be something we're going to be asking, like, where do you want to go? Do you want us to go with voluntary or mandatory? I mean, it's still going to flood. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but let's talk about a tide gate. Where would those go? Where would they be most effective? So on the red stars, you can kind of see where we're thinking. Now, this structure that you see here is highly robust. It's Virginia Beach, and we don't see that size of structure, but it would be very similar to if we do a tide gate. It's not those flex gates that you see that go out in other areas. It's more robust. And if we put pump stations, which you can see those generators there, and pumping that water off, where you can see in a lower right-hand screen, that is just a particular thing. So what we would have is when you have tides coming in, what we're finding out is the Halifax, Reed, and Levin Street. When it's high tide at the inlet, it's low tide here. When it's high tide here, it's low tide at the inlet. So when the high tide comes in, right, all that water coming in from Tomoka all the way down the Halifax is coming down this way from the study area. It's 11 miles as the fish swims to Ponce Inlet. So what's happening with the canals is the water's inundating the canal and preventing it to basically take the drainage and effectively drain this area, especially when you don't have an active draining channel like 11th Street Canal, Holly Hill, Reed Canal, South Daytona, Halifax Canal, Port Orange. You don't have one here, but you have the Navy dumping in over the Nova Canal. That dead ends there. And what happens when the Navy does that, the Nova Canal gets flooded because of high tide, and then the Navy spills over to Nova Road, and it's about 18 to 20 inches what we've modeled that the stormwater sheeting over from Navy Canal over Nova Road into Nova Canal, and then into Caroline Village and back in that area. So I can kind of go back and show those damages where we are still, where you can see where you all know where that is, and you can see the reds, which are yellows, 2-year, 5-year, 10-year. Whereas the other areas that are downstream or close to it, say the Fairway Estates, have a different, but they're still getting inundated. because the water from the tides keep preventing the water from going out. So what our modelers cannot do, because it takes so much time, is how long time does it take to drain? Here's the flood, but how long does it take to drain? Sometimes it takes, I've heard 3 weeks to get rid of all the excess water there, and sometimes I've heard cases where it takes a week. And that model run time is intrusive. Right now, one model run for one hypothetical, say a 10-year, is close to a terabyte of information. That is a lot of data. And to have it run all the way till when we know it drains out, it's very problematic. So let me see, I think that is it, what I'm presenting, other than here's the study team. You can contact us by a web address that you can see on the right. That's a website. We also have an interactive web experience where you can see the little cloud on the right that points to it. It's all in the core website, public website. You can drill down and you go to Civil Works, Flood Risk Management, and you'll see Daytona there. The other contacts that you can see on the top left is the email address. You send an email to that, we will respond, and corporate communications for all the public, they can reach them and they'll get to us as well. So that's all I have.
I'm curious, so are you saying we cannot stop the problem, we can manage it, we can mitigate it as best we can? We can
That is
redirect it almost?
You can't.
No.
No, you can't.
So where would it go?
So it's part of what the problem is let me go back some, and that's why I wanted to do the regional stuff.
I'm sorry, my mind's eye, I have a visualization of the two water systems doing this, sort of coming together and then settling in the middle. Am I right in my thinking? They're coming from one direction and the other. One can't go in and one's coming up, and they're just stuck in the middle. Is that how it's
Correct.
working?
It's like a bull effect, which you can see on this image here.
Okay.
Right? You got Ridgewood Avenue or Civil Bluff Terrace, Ridge, and then you're at Civil Bluff Terrace. Part of this terrace, which is in between Orange Avenue and Bellevue Road, it already has the water level right at the surface. Meaning if it rains a lot, which is over to the west, say the Atlantic Coastal Ridge, all that water surcharged in the ground, and guess where that's going to go? It's 10 to 15 foot of difference. It's going right there. So not only is you treating excess stormwater surface, you also have internal water that's, moving into this area underground because it's naturally low. So when you look at a water table, sort of like natural water table, over there in Atlantic Coastal Ridge, here's the land, here's the water table. It's flip-flopped by that area in there where the water table's here and the land's here. There's been some studies done by USGS that have done this, and right now, from what I understand, I'm working with Volusia County, and we're trying to figure out some other alternatives. Did that help, or did I talk too much?
No, that's
I
good.
tend to be nerdy, sorry.
So what's
Commission-
the problem statement? I'm curious. Like, what is the problem you're solving exactly? If you had to tell me, this is exactly what we're trying to solve.
Nowhere, once, say, for example, from what I can understand, and I'm still studying this, the city has spent close to $8 to $10 million on infrastructure to remove the water. But when the water's so high and the pipes are fully submerged, there's no way for the water to go. And so when you're pumping to Nova Canal, which most of this property is, except for the railroad presence, the railroad to Ridgewood Avenue, we're still trying to figure that part out. But most of the Ridgewood Avenue to the railroad drains towards the Halifax, kind of, sort of. But most of where the railroad is, towards where you have Nova Road, that's all going to Nova Canal. And that water sits there. So the only way to do it is take the water and do a pump and pump it into a reserve. Say, for example, let's just pick on the golf course, for example, right? Let's pick on the golf course, right? It's 36 holes. The cost to retrofit the golf course to act as a dry reservoir when you pump water in is exuberant. I don't have the numbers now, but it's close to 3 orders of magnitude. What I mean is in the $100 million, $200 million range. And that's a 65-35 thing. And
Wow.
we just don't have it. And the BCR that we got out of, that was close to 0.3 to 0.4. Now, we're still refining. What I mean by BCR is basically benefit cost ratio. Here's the economic benefit, here's the cost to do the project. And so it's just not effective. So going to have to deal with it some way, but we're still working through it. Even if, and God forbid, even if we don't even have an effective measure to fix a problem, we are going to try, we're going to send the city all our modeling results, and we're going to release the public report. And when the public report is going out, we're looking to be sometime in around October next year, and then everybody will read the report. But before then, the team wants to do another public workshop sometime in February, and another meeting like this when I come up here and present it to you all. And that might be before I do the public workshop like we did last year. Last time in June, I briefed you all. In July, I briefed the public. So that's what we're looking like in February, and I'll have some teams of engineers. What I really want to do is, let me see if I go back to the slides. For example, I want to kind of go to this slide here. Let's look at this. So let's just say we have two measures. Let's say 2 and 4, alternative 2 and 4, those are it. So then I'll send out some engineers to give me some information to help me out with those. To get cost from 50% contingency to a 25 and acceptable contingency. I'll need to get geotech information. Mr. Andy was very helpful to me and my team to get me all that information that he had in-house, and I'll probably get some more. So hard to see him retire, but it's the second time I met him, so that was nice that you all did that. But that's what we're looking at, sometime the end of February, early March, is do that timeline, but I'll be working with the city and let you all know then. That's all I got. Go ahead.
Commissioner May, are you finished?
Sorry, as it relates to buyouts, would we receive any help with that, or is that on the city? Where would we get some help if we did buyouts?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more a thing I have just started learning at 2 days ago. So I'm working on that, and I believe that is the case. If it's not, I will verify that and let you all know.
Jim, I have 2 questions.
Wait a minute, Commissioner Pierce. Commissioner.
Can you tell me where you're proposing that these gates would be? I see the Reed Canal and 11th
Yeah,
11th Street Canal.
let me go back a slide. Oops, wrong way. Sorry, folks.
There you go.
So where the stars are.
So that's like on the Halifax River?
Yeah, the ones that empty into the Halifax River. 11th Street, Reed Canal, and Halifax. And the benefit of it is if you have these huge gates there, the tide waters don't infiltrate those canals. And so it creates more capacity, I wouldn't say to store water, but they're able to help drain more of that water out. And and that includes the community as a whole. And then that way we could pump that more in there. Matter of fact, there is another measure for Navy Canal, because it dead ends into the Nova Canal, is basically provide a better conveyance so the water's directed instead of directing right into the block wall and then over into in that area. I think that's South Street.
It is.
Still learning, but yeah, and it just spills over, and you can see all the damages that occur along those fences.
Commissioner Reed.
Yeah, the example you gave us was what if we use the golf course? But it's my understanding that maybe the housing authority is willing to sacrifice Caroline Village, which is right there at Nova Road.
Yes, ma'am. and we looked at that, and it's like what we call like recreational benefits, meaning here's like say a baseball park, but then flood those. The problem with that is once we flood that, then we got to take a pipe and a pump and pump that out that way, where that just solves a portion of the problem, but it only solves that portion in the village, but doesn't help Fairway Estates. Whereas these gates or these other alternatives create capacity so that we can pump in there. You know what I mean? Kind of, you do one, it's kind of like your hand in a bathtub. You move water in one direction and water comes behind and fills it back up. It always wants to be there, and that's part of the problem, where you sit in the bowl where the penimetric surface, the water level, is right at the surface and sometimes above it.
Thank you.
Can't help it. It's like
I live in that bowl. Yes.
That help?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Commissioner Paris.
Jim, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
for the alternatives formulation, so you have a couple crossed out. One of them that stands out is the underground storage, because I do have a lot of residents ask me about underground storage and if we could do more retention ponds. But what I'm hearing you saying is since our water table is too high, there's really no place we could put underwater storage.
That's what our geologists have said, and what originally what it was to go up into the airport area, because you can't have ponding any water by the airport because of fowl or birds. And so we're looking at the Navy Canal of building like a two-tier weir system, so to speak. And so to stop all that water from that headwater, you got 10 to 15 feet of water, like your roof, and you're draining all your roof water coming down, and you see that scour along your house. That's what's occurring with between Atlantic Coastal Ridge with Navy Canal going into the Nova. So we were thinking as doing that kind of dry storage there. But again, the cost just kind of exceeded it. But when I briefed you guys 18 months ago, it's an iterative process. Just because it's red now, something else might come up and somebody else says, hey, we got a better idea. And so when we go to our stovepipes at the Corps, they work around this nation and say, wait a second, you guys are overlooking something. We need you to look at this. So we could reopen up things as well. So it's still preliminary. Okay, is that helpful? Okay.
And the next question was on your initial alternative screening. What do the different colors mean?
The red is screened. And the blue one is the next slide to say, hey, this is what I'm going to talk about. It's more of a proposed, nothing's finite. Until I get my agency technical review back and they give us questions, then we'll start getting that way. But I have parametric cost, meaning cost on these measures, and most of them are just far exceeding what the benefit would be.
And I guess my third question, if we could get a copy of this presentation.
Yeah.
Digital.
The city has it.
Yeah, I can provide it.
Okay.
That help? Oh, good. And any other questions, you all can use that email address that I have there, and I'll respond accordingly.
Anyone have any more questions? No. Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
grand.
Thank you.
That was easy. Sorry, I didn't have an easy button up here.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, happy holidays, everybody, and I'll
You
be
too.
talking to you later.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7. This is our citizen comments. During this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the City Commission on any item on the consent agenda. My first speaker is Randall Phillips that was going to speak on item 8A. That item is being pulled from the agenda tonight. Did you still want to speak? Okay,
Well, is it that you all are not going to vote on it?
correct.
If we're not going to vote on it tonight, then probably don't need to say much.
Are you Andrews, Mr. Andrews?
Yeah, it's Tanner. Randall Phillips, 1505 Crescent Ridge Road. Last time I was here, it was kind of a little bit of a mess, and I'd like to apologize to you, Ms. Cantu. I was not trying to lie or mislead you. I'm not an engineer or a contractor, but when I did get that report from my contractor, I really honestly thought that it was applied for. And I didn't mean to waste your time, and I'm sorry. We're trying what we can do with the property. Obviously, it's been pulled for what we were filing. Again, all I'm trying to say is that I've got a contractor. He's willing to come in and do the work. He's just not wanting to come in right now, especially if we have a third party trying to come and demo the property. And I just want to say I appreciate just have some more time. And again, sorry for wasting your time.
Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is Ellen Rodriguez, and on deck is John Nicholson.
Evelyn Rodriguez, Molly Road, Daytona Beach. I'm speaking on 8C. So Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Virginia are all Commonwealth states of the United States. Although Puerto Rico is not a state, it is a Commonwealth of the United States. Per Google, quote, Puerto Rico is a self-governing but unincorporated territory of the United States, meaning that it is under U.S. sovereignty, but not part of the 50 states, with residents of Puerto Rico being U.S. citizens. So, Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, even if they don't speak English, they still are U.S. citizen. So I want to make this clarification, since under this agreement that you guys are going to approve, ICE agents will be training our Daytona Beach police officers on immigration. And as we have seen, ICE agents have made mistakes identifying illegal aliens in other states. Now, I have met people in this area that have made very ignorant comments about Puerto Ricans. For example, people I thought were educated have told me, oh, I'd like to visit Puerto Rico, but I don't want to travel outside of the United States. Or, I'd like to visit Puerto Rico, but I don't have a passport. Recently, a woman in my neighborhood said that she plans to report to the authorities that lately she's been seeing a lot of Puerto Ricans and other illegals up at the Bevel Road Walmart. So just for the record, again, Puerto Ricans are citizens of the United States. They are not illegal aliens. So as our police officers follow immigration orders under this agreement, I hope they will be cautious in making the distinction between legal and illegal. Thank you, and I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Okay, our next speaker is John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Granbury Avenue. Having come from Miami, I'm very aware of Puerto Ricans being Americans. Items D, E, and K.
You're older now.
What? Oh, okay.
It's going.
In the past, the street sweepers came through Beachside 5 days a week. Then we cut them back. Now they are supposed to come once a week. I've not seen any markings of a street sweeper on our street for probably 8 to 10 months. So if they do come in, I don't see them. The last time I saw one, he had his blades 6 inches above the ground. So they collected nothing. So is there a way of using CRA funds to get a street sweeper functioning? Because we have, supposedly 8 to 10 million tourists coming in town. They drop a lot of trash, unlike a residential neighborhood. So a residential neighborhood, you do without it, but when you have that many people in a concentrated area of the CRA, it needs to be cleaned much more often. Secondly, I have a problem with the definition on E. I had to go back to the agenda to find out what it was talking about. It's about Beach Street, but you don't know that if you don't know what project number, whatever it is. So just using the word Beach Street would make it a lot easier to go through these faster. And lastly, on K, the ditches, apparently this is renewable. The county has been pushing very hard because of the flooding throughout the county, not to mention flooding here. I'm presuming that we do our ditches every single year, because if we don't, it just builds up so that they're useless. So I would ask that whatever we're doing on ditches, that it be done every single year, because the people need to have that water flow. Like it says, it just sits there. If we can get it moving, we need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
That was my final speaker for the consent agenda.
Okay, does any member of the commission wish to remove any item up from the consent agenda?
I would like to 8F.
Could we mute Commissioner?
Strickland.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
No, not yet.
No,
So moved.
with the exception of 8F.
With the removal of 8F.
Okay. Get second? Okay. So, I have, okay. Okay, so I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Harris, with the exception of 8F, and a second by Commissioner May. Any discussions or questions?
Are we removing this to discuss later?
I just voted no on it at the CRA,
So she wants to
so
move it to
I don't want to vote yes.
We'll take
as
it
a group.
immediately after the consent.
Okay, so all in favor, let it be known by saying A.
Aye.
Aye. Opposes, same side?
Aye.
So that would be 6 to 1,
Or 5-1.
5 to 1. The consent agenda has been approved, 5 to 1. For those who are attending for the first time, it takes items, Section 8 consent agenda. Okay, separate.
Separate for AF, is there a motion?
Is there a motion?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and since it's been moved out the consent, I'll read it into the record. This is a resolution approving a sale and purchase agreement with Bat Development LLC, providing for the city's purchase of a parcel located at 543 Oak Street at a cost of $305,000 plus closing costs that were reduced to, I believe, $20,000. Authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement, warranty deed, and any other related documents to facilitate the sale and take such action as may be necessary or prudent in the implementation, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Reed, a second by Commissioner May. Any comments?
Any member of the public want to speak on this item?
Evelyn Rodriguez, Molly Road, Daytona Beach. Yeah, I wasn't prepared, but I had to look this up. Now, they say about this appraisal, but the property appraiser didn't have it so high. So I'm just, so it had like $60,000 less. But so I don't understand how, I believe, I looked it up. And so I don't believe how it goes so far. I know that property appraiser is usually 15% or something lower. But from what the property appraiser has plus 15% to what these appraisers, there's something wrong with that. So I just don't approve of this cost.
And that was my only speaker, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposes, the same sign?
No.
No. So that would be 4 to 2?
Or 5 to 2.
Oh, 5 to 2?
No, you're right.
4 to 2. I thought I was right.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 9, which is our public hearings and quasi-judicial hearings. Item 9A is the Growth Management Planning Department Terms and Uses LDC text amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance amending the Land Development Code, Article 2, Section 11.5, Article 11, Section 11.5, to add a definition of social services and to modify existing definitions for general industrial services and vending machines, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Paris
Paris and May.
and second by Commissioner Reed.
No, Paris and May.
Oh, Commissioner May, excuse me.
And Madam Mayor, I do have one speaker, Mr. John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Granbury Avenue. I went to the meeting on this and looked at the diagram. One they show is a huge ice machine. I don't mind the idea of an ice machine just sitting anywhere on the side of a road or in the middle of a shopping center. But it is, the one they showed is absolutely ugly. It is 1950s gaudy, ugly yellow. It's not acceptable today. We are a tourist town. We have to look our best. So to put something that would look really, I can't use that word, terrible and unacceptable. So I'm asking you, if we do this, I don't mind it really, but it's the appearance that we have to have something that is attractive. We can't have the diagram that was in the backup material we can't have that kind of thing on our side streets, or even like ISB or A1A, to have that. I mean, and it's needed. ICE is needed. People really, especially the Speedway needs it because they need bags and bags of it. But to have it's somewhat attractive appearance. Thank you.
Thank you. Any,
Sorry.
was that our last speaker?
Yes.
Any comments or discussion from the members of the commission? Okay, with that said, we have a motion by Commissioner Paris, second by Commissioner May. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposes, same sign. Item passes 6-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9B. This is the Growth Management and Planning Department Certified Recovery Residences Land Development Code Text Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance amending the Land Development Code, Article 3, Section 3.4.d to adopt procedures for review and approval of certified recovery residences in compliance with Florida Senate Bill number 954 and Section 397.487 of the Florida statutes, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith and providing an effective date.
Can I get a motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner May and a second by Commissioner Reed. Do we have any comments from the public?
Yes, I do have speakers, Madam Mayor. Our first speaker just has the name Kenneth on his form at 204 Nancy Drive. Okay, and our next speaker was William Biddorf. I don't know if they're out in the lobby, but okay. Then
Okay.
I don't have any other speakers, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Do we have any comments or discussion from the commission on this item? Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose the same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 9C. It's a Growth Management and Planning Department, George W. Ingram Boulevard, Small Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance adopting a small scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with section 163.3817 of the Florida statutes with regard to 0.66 plus or minus acres of property generally located along the south side of George W. Ingram Boulevard between Garden Street and Ellsworth Street, amending the future land use map designation for this property from level 2 residential to commercial transitional, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Who was the second?
Paris.
Paris. Okay, so it was moved by Commissioner Reed, second by Commissioner Paris. Do we have any comments from the public?
No, ma'am. I
No.
don't have anyone signed up for this.
Any comments or discussion with the commission on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Passes 6-0.
Okay. Moving on to item 9D, it's a Growth Management and Planning Historic Preservation Board Land Development Code Text Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance amending the Land Development Code relating to Citizen Advisory Board membership requirements, amending Article 2, Section 2.2.c.3 and 2.5.c.3 to allow advisory board members who lose their zone residency-based qualification to serve out the remainder of their term, amending Article 2, Section 2.4 to reduce membership for the Historic Preservation Board from 9 to 7, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Paris, second by Commissioner May. Do we have anyone from the public that would like to
I
speak?
have one speaker, Madam Mayor. It's Mr. John Nicholson. No, and
Nope.
he's...
Okay. Any comments or discussion by the commission? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same side. 6-0, passed.
Okay. I'm going to move on to item 9E. It's a Growth Management and Planning Department, the Commons at LPGA, Plan Development General. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 10.16 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the east side of LPGA Boulevard, north of Royal County Boulevard, from SFR 5 to PDG, approving the comments at LPGA Plan District Agreement to allow for office and retail uses, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner May. Do we have any? Read. Any residents?
I do have, is it David Glunt? Here for any questions or comments from the commission.
Does any of the commission have any questions or comments?
And commissioners, I just wanted to mention, just for the record, staff added to your packet a proposed revision to the PD agreement that wasn't in your regular agenda regarding coordination of traffic, and staff's available to explain that.
Okay, I have some questions. Thank you. So I assume that the county, you've talked to the county regarding this. Could you explain what is going to happen?
So I talked to Storm Kazmierzak over at the county and sent him our site plan showing the 2 locations of the access points that we're proposing. I also responded back with a line of sight diagram to kind of show him why we think that this access is safe. He looked at it, and his response was that we would go through the Volusia County process. And at this stage, it's really kind of too early, but what they were thinking was maybe restricting the southern access to be a right in, right out with a median so that you can't make a left in. And then the northern access, make that a full access. So that would be in the interim until DOT eventually, maybe, changes the road. And if they do, then both access points will be restricted to right in, right out.
Okay, and I'm happy you guys did that because it is a very dangerous intersection over there. I was reading the backup on this too, and there was quite a few residents that came to your neighborhood meeting, and I wanted to discuss that because they were really worried because it was zoned for single family, and since there's going to be retail, in their backyard, what is going to happen there? I mean, I know there's buffers and everything. Can you explain? Because have you actually talked to them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
we
because
talked in great detail.
Before you answer, I was reading back there. It looked like they were actually putting a petition together and signing it as well.
Okay. I haven't seen a petition or anything.
Okay.
But I can tell you from our discussion at the...
Hold on one second.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, you can proceed.
Sure. So at the neighborhood meeting, there were a couple of concerns. One was that they were promised by Lennar Homes when they bought their home that the property behind them would be a conservation area, and it was not a conservation area. So they were a little bit upset that it was not what it was promised to them by the original developer, and we told them that we understood. That's why we were proposing a more intense semi-opaque buffer, a type D option 2 buffer, which provides a lot of planting materials that can reach a height over the 6-foot mark and provide a good full buffer at maturity. The residents did want something in addition to, or they wanted the buffer changed actually to something with a wall. So that would be your option 3 type D buffer. And in the planning board meeting, they brought that up, and we had no objection to changing it to a type D buffer.
Okay.
Sorry, type D option 3 buffer.
And
with
is
a
that
wall.
noted in the PD?
Dennis is in the corner. Dennis?
Dennis Rozek, Planning Director for the city. No, we did not include that specific language in the PD to have the wall. I know one of the discussions we had was if the wall were to go in, it would actually lose some of the trees and the landscaping because they'd have to take that out for the wall. Planning board discussed that and thought the natural vegetation of the trees were probably more beneficial than having the wall over there and then the trees coming down with the new plantings. So that was the discussion in the end. And the planning board did discuss that, and they discussed whether or not the wall should go in, and it was decided they would rather have the vegetation in the wall.
Okay, but what did the residents want over there?
We didn't have any residents speak on the subject at the planning board meeting.
No, not the planning board, in your meeting.
I mean, so there were a few residents that were happy with the screening that we proposed, and there were a couple of residents that were, outspoken about wanting a wall for protection.
Okay, is that something that we can put in there and?
Yes, you would have to amend the motion to specifically provide for the type, did you call it?
Type D option
buffer.
3.
Well, I don't really want to specify. I would just like to see what the residents over on I think it's Sand Trap, would prefer over there, because I've been hearing a lot of.
This is their application, and they have a right to a decision one way or the other by the city commission.
Right,
There
but
was
he's
public
saying-
notice of the meeting, and I don't think you should continue a quasi-judicial hearing.
No, I'm not
yeah.
continuing, but you have said you wouldn't mind either way, correct?
Right, we have no objection either way.
Okay. So how could we put something in there?
I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm
Okay,
sorry, madam.
so
Vice Mayor.
I was reading these backups from your meeting, and it looked like a lot of them want the wall, but Dennis is saying what the planning board was pretty much saying. So how could I have a talk with these residents to see what they really want on that street? Or can I?
I don't think
We could do
you could do
anything.
that
Okay.
because you all have to act as a group in the
Yeah,
sunshine.
that's why I was just curious. That's why I was wondering. So, this is a hard decision over there, because I prefer personally the retail over there than single family, because that's what you're zoned for.
Right.
But I do understand the residents over there that's going to be behind that retail. And
Well, with the option 3 buffer, I believe your code says that either a fence or wall with evergreen hedges is
Correct.
required with the option 3. To me, that doesn't seem like a very full buffer. So if you went with the option 2 buffer, which is what we're proposing, which is also a bigger buffer area, at maturity, you're going to have bigger plants. If we were to put in a PVC fence, although it would be just a fence and not a wall, that would actually provide screening from day one to at least a level of 6 foot. And that's something that we could add to the type C buffer, which would not be a huge expense as compared to building a CMU wall. So that's something that we could add.
yeah, I like that. So what would we have to do, or is that already in the PD?
I would just say that the type D option 2 buffer is already called out on the conceptual site plan. So I would just say add a PVC fence to that property in addition to the type C buffer.
Okay, would we need
Type D
someone
buffer.
to amend their motion?
Yes.
So the motion was made by Commissioner May, and the second was Commissioner Reed.
I'd like to amend my motion to include the PVC buffer.
Okay, thank you.
you.
Thank you.
And then would you also want to amend the motion to include the additional proposed PD language that was referenced in the December 16th memo?
Can I get a motion on that?
Or
I'd like to move.
Oh, well,
the
we already have,
it's
well,
in there.
amend your motion, because we
I'd
already,
like to amend my
Okay.
motion, please.
My second to include.
okay. Do we have anyone from the commission would like any other discussion? Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
A.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, same side. So the motion passes 6-1.
Commissioner Strickland, was that? Okay.
Just want to make sure how many minutes.
I said yes.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure.
6-0, excuse
Yeah.
me.
Okay,
Thank
so we're going to move on to item number 10, which is our introduction of ordinances, and these are for city commission comments and questions only. Item 10A is the Police Department City Ordinance, Chapter 110-98, Rates and Vehicle Classifications to align with Volusia County. This is an introduction of an ordinance on first reading. An ordinance amending City Code of Ordinances, Section 110-38, rates to update the maximum rates for trespass and non-consensual tows and storage to align with Volusia County standards, providing for conflicts and providing for an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? The public hearing and final action is set for January 7th, 2026. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 11A. It's the Public Works Department acceptance of FDOT LAP agreement. This is a resolution approving a local agency program agreement with the State of Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, providing for FDOT to reimburse the city up to $8,587,507 for the construction and inspection of the Beach Street Complete Street retrofit from Bay Street to Michigan Avenue project, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, authorizing the amendment of the applicable fiscal year budget and expenditure of all funds awarded, authorizing the city manager to execute any related documents required to be executed by the agreement, and providing an effective date.
We have a motion by, was it Commissioner Reed? Henry, by Commissioner Henry, and a second by Commissioner May.
And I have no speakers for this item.
I know,
Madam
did
Mayor.
you? Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, same side. Vote passes 6-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 11B, which is the Public Works Utilities Department, new vehicles and equipment purchases for fiscal year 2026. This is a resolution authorizing the purchase of utility department replacement vehicles and equipment at a total cost of $847,395.47, consisting of a 2026 Ford F-450 truck and two 2026 Chevy Silverado trucks from Allen J. Fleet Sales, a trailer-mounted vacuum-assisted priming pump from Thompson Pump, and a Vector sewer cleaner from the Environmental Product Group, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Paris and a second from Commissioner May. Do we have any comments?
I have no speakers, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Any discussion from the commission? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same side. Item passes 6-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 11C. It's the Public Works Racing and Rec Facilities District, Breakers Ocean Park Playground. This is a resolution. A resolution authorizing submission of a grant application to and acceptance of a grant from the Daytona Beach Racing and Recreational Facilities District in the amount of $500,000 for the Breakers Oceanfront Park Playground and fitness equipment, authorizing a cash match in the amount of $492,255.68, authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the grant agreement and any necessary documents in furtherance of the grant acceptance, authorizing the budget officer to amend the budget if the grant funds are awarded, and providing an effective date.
Take a motion by Commissioner Henry, second by Commissioner Reed. Do we have any?
I do have speakers, Madam Mayor. Our first speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Doyle Lewis.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. As you know, we're trying to redo Main Street, and on several of the diagrams on Main Street, part of the park is lost to a roundabout. So, making sure that we coordinate the two of those. if one of those on Main Street is chosen, I don't want to have the park playground in the same location as the roundabout. Secondly, it's a very visible, hopefully a very much used. We had very little use of the splash pad. It was down 90% of the time because of the sand. So we never got really a use for it. We have a park, a children's park already that we're not using, right in front of the Hilton. We took the playground equipment out 16 years ago, and it's supposed to be replaced shortly, back in 1999 or something. So we're still waiting for the playground equipment there. So I would also like you to add playground equipment into the playground that we already have, and that whatever we put in there, that it be used. What they put on City Island or the library playground, it's hardly ever used. So they had to put in another playground next to it, playground equipment, because what they had put in was very artistic, very modern, but the kids never used it. So I don't want us to put in something that the kids are not going to use. So just be very aware of what we put in there. Thank you.
My next speaker is Mr. Doyle Lewis.
Good evening, Commission. Doyle Lewis. The reason why I want to speak on this is because the playground equipment keeps breaking in some of the places that I've seen. So make sure it has a long lifespan. Make sure it's storm-proof. Make sure it's kind of like UV protected. Make sure the covering doesn't tear off, like I've seen several of them. They're made out of cloth and they just blow away, and then they just shut down the playground until you get it repaired. So the playgrounds, a lot of them are not being used because of that. If you promote the kids and the families to use the playgrounds a lot more in your advertising on your websites and stuff, that would probably go well too. Development of young children is just like their parents. Some of the playgrounds are actually being broken by the parents up there with them. So just make sure they have a long lifespan, make sure they can handle the weight, because I've seen the children playground equipment broken by the parents. And once that happens, it's very unusable and it's damaging. I've been around a lot of them. And as far as the splash pads, if you just put more filters around the pumps where they're cleaned and maintained more often, it would actually keep the pump from wearing out. It's almost like any kind of pump, like a sewer pump or an oil pump or water well pump. If you keep the filters clean, it will not get into a situation of dry running. It won't get overheated. Maintain your filters like you do a swimming pool or anything. The maintenance on those pumps is what's causing the splash pads to have so many issues. And if you watch the kids in the splash pads, they love it. I'm talking about the 30-year-old kids, and I'm talking about the 4-year-old kids. The splash pads are great to have around playground equipment. If you don't want to understand what I say, go to Ormond Beach and look at the Andy Romano Park. I've spent a lot of time up there before that was there. As long as you maintain your filtering systems, your splash pads will work, and that's a big issue. Just make sure the city workers know that that's part of their job or something, or your contractors that do that sort of thing, because when you treat the water system like they do in Ormond, they test it on a regular basis. So it's basically about maintaining it. And I'm from oil country. If your oil pump goes bad and you shut it down, your income level drops. Thank you.
Thank you, Doyle.
That was my only two speakers, Madam Mayor.
Okay. We had a motion and a second. Do we have any comments or discussion from the commission?
I do have some questions.
Commissioner Pierce.
Was this part of the master plan? Our Parks and Rec master plan?
Originally it was.
Okay.
A while back, the commissioners had discussions about changing out the splash pad because of the amount of maintenance took place. And these were recommendations that came back from the Public Works and Parks and Rec Department to change out.
And all of the materials that are used, are they sustainable, or are we using?
Within the package, it has the materials, and I probably hear David Waller coming out to share his expertise on the item. Was that David coming out?
Great ears. David Waller with the Public Works Department. We're working with the design team and some vendors still to identify equipment that'll be as robust as possible for the environment that's there. It's kind of a balance between budget and our desires for the most robust system. But we're working on that, and we're also going to do some refinements to the site plan to try to and make better use of our funds over what's been initially presented.
And what is the age range of the children for this park?
The age range, where there's going to be some top pieces for the 1 to 5s, and then the majority of the equipment will be for the larger kids, 6 to 12.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same side. Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, Madam Mayor, that was our final agenda item, and we will start with Commissioner Henry and end with you as the Vice Mayor.
Okay, so I have two concerns. The first concern is when we first started talking about accessory dwelling units, it was supposed to be a way, one, for homeowners to be able to make a little bit of extra cash, as well as help with our need for more affordable housing. And I've talked to quite a few people. I talked to someone stopped me in Home Depot the other day, and she too has an accessory dwelling unit on her home. And she said the fees are so outrageous that she cannot use it. She just lets it sit there. And I remember someone talking about it before, that the fees were the same as, did we talk about the fees being the same as regular developers' fees? Okay, so I need to know what the fees are for accessory dwelling units. That'll solve that. What the fees are for accessory dwelling units, how much are people paying in order to be able to have an accessory dwelling unit, in taxes and fees and all of that? Because I remember us talking about it in the last meeting, and we did talk about how high it was and how unattainable it was for residents. So is there anyone that can speak on that?
I don't have the fee schedule for that. If I would have known that before that, Commissioner, I would have brought it. But I don't have the fee schedule for all of our permits.
Do you all remember us talking about it about a meeting or two ago? I think Zuckerberry, Amaya brought it up, if I remember correctly. She's left. Nobody remembers, and the mayor, you remember us talking about it?
I do. I don't know if it was impact fees that they were mentioning.
It
The
may have
cost
been.
to build the ADUs had the same impact fees, I think, as single
That's
family
exactly.
residents.
That's exactly what it was. You're right. Thank you so much for jogging my memory on that. It was the impact fees. And we said we would look at the impact fees and see what could be done to lower the impact fees for homeowners because it was so high. I'd like to know if we've started to work on that, those impact fees for accessory dwelling units.
There's a process for doing impact fees. There's a study that is required. Staff just cannot unilaterally make a decision to lower impact fees. I don't know what's the date. The last time what was it, last year when we looked at our impact fees, being that you recall, or or was it this year?
We adopted impact fees a few months ago.
And so that it's not a unilaterally thing that staff can do. It's based off a study that is done for our impact fees. And I see Deputy City Manager Moore is coming up, but there is a legitimate study that takes place to determine impact fees and not just unilaterally decided by staff.
Acting Chair Reed, Jim Morris, just Deputy City Manager.
And the questions came from Commissioner Henry.
I was listening. The new fees just went into effect December 1. That was based on a study that was completed about a year ago. And when you get to the impact fee, part of it relates to fixtures and just loading of the capital system that we have for water and sewer. And the study is based on those expenses. And yes, they are steep. They've gone up for everybody. And from the perspective of the expenses, that is the situation with it. So you do a study, and we've done that. It had a rate study that lasted, I want to say it lasted about 9 months to arrive at the charges. You have that. You've also got the aspect that when you have ADUs, you're supposed to be the principal occupant of the house is supposed to be the owner occupant.
Right.
And some people have complained about that. Those have been two things. We've taken a look at parking. Another component, and I'm sorry, I'm answering Commissioner May's question, but Commissioner Henry's question in respect to those things. So those are things that I've heard about as people struggling with that, but you've got to balance that against the other folks who've got the parking on their property, the other people that have all paid the fees as it relates to an additional unit connecting. That's an expense that once it's paid, it goes with the property. So over time, it's capitalized, but those are parts of it. And I think probably what we can do is re-listen to your question on video and give you a more detailed answer than I can give you right this minute, because there is a breakdown of a number of charges that go to it and some that are excluded. And if that's acceptable, we can come back with a little memorandum that speaks to your question more specifically than I can right this minute, which we'll re-listen to the video and I'll give an answer for you.
Okay, so let me readdress my concern. My concern is when I first brought up accessory dwelling units, we talked about that as a way for affordable for residents to be able to make some money. So we said it would help. It would be twofold. Homeowners would be able to make a little bit of money. And then it would help with what we had an issue with and what has been a big issue for us for the past couple years, which is affordability, affordable housing. So we thought that, hey, it could be twofold. Residents could make a little money and they could help with the affordability crisis that we're having right now. And so what you're saying to me is we did all of that for years. We worked on I worked on accessory dwelling units for years. And so now you're telling me that it can't be affordable, that $20,000 or whatever, I would like to know what the actual fees are that homeowners have to pay for accessory dwelling units, that it's not affordable. It can't be affordable. It's really unattainable at 20 grand.
I'll bring you back the itemized statements. It's something the Commission's adopted as a matter of its own action by looking at the expenses that are there. And I will, if you don't mind, just harken back to what Commissioner Reed said a few minutes ago about a home in the neighborhood at 425. The neighborhood I grew up in New Smyrna, I remember asking my dad as a kid, what did a house cost? 10 grand back then. A house just down the street that I passed every day on my way from first grade on, just sold in the neighborhood I grew up in at right at $500,000. So the actual relative cost of everything in the vicinity with the pressure that we've had from population and so on, as well as expensive construction materials themselves, everything has just multiplied huge numbers over the past 6 or 8 years. They're stabilizing, but probably not going down very much at the moment. But I'll bring back a detailed answer. I'll have folks listen to your question. We'll give you a written response to every component of your question, if that's acceptable to the Commission as a whole.
Mr. Morris, can I ask you something? We thought, I think, that because it was a smaller unit, that the cost per square foot would automatically be smaller. And are we thinking there's just a plain fixed cost?
To a certain extent, it's a plain fixed cost. The difference would be you've got fewer square feet. So the multiplier in that respect is smaller because you'd have, I think it's 800 square feet is as large as they can be. But when you look at the expense of just purely roofing, I live in a very, very small house, and the cost to re-roof that, and part of it's a flat roof, is almost $30,000.
And I understand that. I do. But I refuse to believe that there is not something that can be done, and we cannot revisit this to make it affordable.
So I'm not saying that you can't revisit it.
Okay.
I'm saying that we'll give you detailed answers so you can look at the components, and collectively the commission can ask us questions. We'll give you the material that we have and go that way.
And you're right. We did approve it, and I think when we approved it, it did not occur to us that those same fees would be accessory dwelling unit fees, and they would be the same as, impact fees would be the same as larger builder fees.
It's living unit size. I'll give you the specifics. Like I said, I'm see the pants answering you now. I know the general answer, but we can give you very detailed information because it's a schedule of rates.
Yeah. And I'm not going to walk away from this. So.
I know you're not.
This is something, and accessory dwelling unit is something that I fought for many years. So it means a lot to me. I think it means a lot to people that we represent in our communities that actually have accessory dwelling units that could benefit from them. So.
If I may just go a little bit further, just given the time of year that it is, we'll try to have a meeting back, an answer back to you by the 21st, which will be the second meeting in January. The first one is practically here right now because of the holiday.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
So that was my first question. And then my second question, City Manager, you told me that the residents voted not to remove the speed hump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have a homeowner who did not want a speed hump and did not ask for a speed hump and did not want a speed hump in front of her home, but she must now keep the speed bump in front of her home because the other residents don't want the speed bump removed. I find that highly problematic, and the reason why I find that highly problematic is, of course, they're going to want speed bumps, but nobody wants it in front of their home. So forcing another resident to keep a speed bump in front of her home when she doesn't want it there is problematic. I think it needs to go in front of the homes where the people said they want a speed bump. So I think that's something that we desperately need to look at because speed bumps can be dangerous. You and I have talked about that before. And forcing a resident to keep it in front of their house when they don't want it and they didn't ask for it in the first place, to me, is problematic.
Well, we're only following Commissioner, we're only following what you all put in as a policy to do the percentage of residents. We sent out the survey to the streets. They came back in, and the majority of the residents did not want us to pull back up a speed hump. And David Waller and his team is only following the procedure because we have people all the time say, put a speed hump in, take a speed hump out. And I've talked about this. I know a speed hump in front of my grandmother's house. You could hear it when people go over it. And so we would be in a back and forth if we decide to say we're going to pull this up, and then you've got 10 homes on that street. 9 say they want to keep it, and 1 says take it away, and we take it away. I think we'll be back here. So we just need to know what your policy wants to be as a commission to take it in and out.
And I understand that, but I also understand that people can be kind of selfish, and it's okay. The speed bump is great as long as it's not in front of my home. And if I'm the one homeowner that doesn't want the speed bump in front of my home, and I'm the one vote that says, yeah, no thanks, I don't want the speed bump in front of my home, but then all the others are voting for it, they're getting the benefit of the speed bump, but the person that's really truly paying the cost is the person who doesn't want it in front of their home because people go over them and crash into people's homes, and we know that.
How do they decide placement?
They do a study, the engineer, and that's where I was going to just say, tell her that's where it decides where it's going to be placed, and then the majority, believe me, I go through this constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I understand that too, and I think so also when they do the study that it's not just one particular place that it can go in on the street. I don't think that.
Is this a permanent one, or is this the one where they have the plastic?
It's just.
Oh, okay. So it's not a hump; it's a bump.
It's a bump.
Oh yeah, it's a bump. But I mean, we're in a serious situation because we pull it up based off of just one individual and 9 people want it. So I have to.
Well,
we're only going by what's in place.
I get that. And the other thing that I get too is that there really are only about 2 or 3 homeowners on the street. So you're doing a study where renters are deciding what homeowners have to have. I have a problem with that too, because those people are in and out. Whereas you have homeowners who have been there for 20, 30 years, and they're the one that's taking the brunt of the hit from 1 having to have the speed bump and 2 having to have renters decide nothing against renters, but that's problematic. But I'll discuss that more as well. And I think that's something that we seriously need to look at. Even when we do the studies. When we do the studies, are we doing the studies for people who are permanently affected by this, or people who could only be there 2 or 3 months, which is renters?
I actually think they do it based off speed and the amount of traffic on there, not just an individual if it's a renter or a permanent resident. They do it based off of the traffic study.
Yeah, based off of the traffic study. But what I'm saying is when you take the survey, you take the survey from the residents. So I'm saying what my concern is that we have actual residents who are homeowners who are being forced to have a speed bump in front of their home because renters who probably won't be there the next 2 or 3 months or 6 months have said, yeah, I want a speed hump. So I think those are some things that we have to really look at with policies going forward. And have a fantastic holiday. Everyone be safe. And that's my comments for tonight.
Commissioner Reed?
Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And I don't know about you all, but 13 days straight I had somewhere to be, including still going to work. So I just want to share a few things with you. First of all, we lost a citizen who was such a remarkable woman. I went to her service. She was 101 years old. Her name was Senorita Locklear, and she was the administrative assistant and secretary to Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. 101 years old and still in her right mind. Still in her right mind. She could tell you things that happened 50 years ago, like it happened yesterday. So it was a pleasure and an honor to have met her and to have known her. The Women's Advisory Board had a new fundraiser called a Tour of Tables. And you talk about something that was absolutely beautiful. Each woman was responsible for decorating a table, and the tables had themes. And I sponsored a table so that Commissioner May, the manager, and just Commissioner Strickland, we all sponsored tables, but they decorated the tables. You didn't? My wife decorated my table. Okay, well, your wife decorated your table. And they were absolutely gorgeous. Now, the event was a little long, 3 hours, and that's when I left. But the tables were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen anything like that before. Then, in this wonderful time of year, we helped sponsor the senior prom, and Xavier's going to show us a few things from the prom. It was on that first Friday, immediately after he would show me, after our commission meeting. I almost said sorority commission meeting. Okay, Xavier, you can change the picture. All right. So we were preparing for 400 folks, and we got pretty close to it. The seniors were looking forward to it. This year, not only did we have our senior oasis to attend, but we got word that seniors in the community said, why are we not still coming? So we found some funding, and we were able to bring citizens in that aren't necessarily a part of our senior oasis program. Our escorts for the ladies were the men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, as well as the men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. We had Bethune-Cookman football players who came and they went around and helped seniors who had difficulty with mobility and brought them their meals. And then we had the sorors of Sigma Gamma Rho, Sorority Incorporated, and the Fire Union were the servers. So we had quite a bit of engagement from our community for this particular event. The decorations were absolutely gorgeous. Staff did an excellent job. We've been planning for quite some time now. And so that was that evening. Now, the other thing that we do this time of year is our children's Christmas party. And a lot of you haven't had an opportunity to actually attend that. This is something that's very dear to my heart. I think our kids should be kids as long as they can be kids. So we've got a few photos from that as well. We co-sponsored that with the Tortugas, and they normally give us the Jackie Robinson Ballpark. And I think it's important for our young people to experience the Jackie Robinson Ballpark. They may never ever go there if we didn't do something, and it's right here in their backyard, and they would not have experienced it. Unfortunately, this year, it's under construction. So we were able to utilize the space that's behind the library where Commissioner Cantu usually does a trunk or treat. And it was still just as great as it normally was. We had a little lighting issue from the lights that we rented, but we got it going. They love Santa Claus. They love the face painting. They did some line dancing. They just had a great old time. We had some mascots that were there. You saw the Tortugas mascot, Sheldon. The Wildcats mascot came, and the National Panhellenic Council, as you just saw, some brothers of Omega Psi Phi were there to help. Wildy came, the mascot from Bethune-Cookman, and the kids absolutely adored him. And there's Wildy and me, and that's the paw, that Wildcat paw. You can see the faces that were painted for the young people. One of our freshmen at Bethune-Cookman. And it was just a grand old time. We made the best of the space that we were provided, and everything that the young, and yeah, Commissioner Henry came with her son, who did not want to leave, I'll tell you. He was like, the party is not over. So we did have our debriefing today on both of those events and how we can make them better for next year. And I just want to say that this is a time of year that some folks get really sad because they miss their loved ones and they start thinking about, just how times used to be. But just remember, it was a blessing to even have them in your life, and that life does go on, and that it's more so about the love and the joy that we share than the gifts that we receive. That is the gift, the joy and the love that we share with one another. And I just wish each and every one of you a blessed Merry Christmas. Jesus is the reason for the season. I'm not saying happy holidays. And also a blessed new year as we go into 2026, that may you be blessed from January to December, and that your loved ones as well. And that concludes my comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Paris?
I just want to know if we had an update on the Halifax Marina maintenance report for the city manager.
No, we don't.
No. Do we have any idea when we're going to get it? We have a presentation.
We will have a presentation in January at one of our commission meetings.
That's going to bring up the maintenance issues? Okay. The other thing is for the Sesquicentennial Advisory Committee, we had a couple of hiccups. Our first chair had resigned. Then they were unable to get a quorum at the meetings. So what I'm asking for is if it's possible for us to dissolve this advisory committee, because we haven't been able to, like I said, get a quorum. We had people that couldn't show up at certain meetings, and it's already the middle of December. So what I wanted to propose is that if we dissolve the committee, I would still be the liaison between the commission and the staff to make sure that we are still promoting our history. We do have 2 events that are set up for one weekend in July, and it would be mostly celebrating our history and promoting it. So I don't know if that's something that has to go on the next meeting agenda, or if that's something that we could do now, if you guys want to think about it. But unfortunately, we weren't able to get enough people to show up for the meetings.
Have you discussed this with the committee to dissolve it?
Well, I did with Sue, who was the acting chair, Sue Odina.
And then last week we had someone else resign.
Oh, and then also my representative also resigned.
And mine was the first to resign.
Yes. So
Interesting.
I don't know if it was maybe because of the holiday season, but we just couldn't get everybody together at the end. So
Ben?
If the commission takes a vote to dissolve the committee, I'll prepare a resolution and have it signed after the meeting.
Or if you want me to bring it
Right.
back. Yeah.
You want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we dissolve the Sesquicentennial Advisory Committee.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
Are there
I have a
comments?
question.
Okay.
Was the goal to have an event every month? Was that the goal, or just one or two key events? What was the goal?
To have one or two key events in July, then also to get with some partners to see where we can promote, like Volusia County Schools, the library, Halifax Historical Museum, which I think we could still do in the interim. And staff has worked already with all of our existing events that we have during the year. They're going to incorporate the
Right.
150 years.
Okay.
We're going to have some street pole banners that are going to be going up. So my main thing was more about telling the history of Daytona Beach, which we could do digitally, which we have, and then push it through these partners that I mentioned. So I think it'll still be successful.
I've actually been in discussion in regards to something for the sesquicentennial for the Midtown area
Okay.
that I probably need to discuss with those who all touch the Midtown. Which would include Commissioner
I don't
Strickland.
even know what's going on.
So I definitely would like to move forward with that. In regards to the Sesquicentennial Committee, if it's not working, I mean, how many people were there? There was a representative from each of us, correct? And the mayor, so that was 7, and then
I
you
think
represented us?
Did we have all of them, or one person was still missing?
I think we still had one person that was missing because the mayor actually had 2 representatives and had only been able to fill 1. And then, like I said, I think it was just more a question of being able to commit to different times throughout it was hard to get everyone together. And then when the chair resigned at first, we've had a couple, I know at least one member that came to the first meeting and then never came again, that type of stuff, so.
Okay.
And a lot of unforeseen circumstances also
Yeah.
by the committee members that I don't think that they could help, so.
Well, I would
Agreed.
welcome Ben bringing something back, since he says that's what he'd have to do for us too.
There's an event that's taking place in May, and they're going to be doing something also for Sesquicentennial. So I'll be bringing that also. Where anything that you have that you want to include, they could include it. So I like the idea of we have existing things going on, and let's incorporate some of the themes into those existing ideas. So they'll be contacting you also. So we can still do a lot. It's still a fantastic idea.
What was actually the culminating month? Was it June?
July?
July? Okay.
July 26th, 2026.
Ooh.
So I want to clarify something I said earlier. If you move to dissolve and vote on the dissolution tonight, I will prepare the resolution after the meeting. It doesn't need to come back to the commission. We'll have it signed after the meeting. I don't mean immediately after. You might need a day or so, but
So I made a motion.
You made a motion. Commissioner May has made the second. Do we need to take public comments?
Yes.
Okay.
Does anyone want to make comments? Mr. Nicholson?
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview. Went to the meeting. Nobody was there. The chair had just resigned. Sue was having problems. So there was virtually minimal amount of discussion. My view is a very large event, all right? They were discussing for 5-10 minutes on how to raise $44,000 for one item. And they thought that they could not raise that amount of money because it was so much. And I'm thinking, well, maybe $500,000, $3 million to spend on an event because you don't get to be 150 that often. But it was just too late, and they didn't have enough time to do what they would like to have done. So if you don't have the time, no matter how hard you try, you're not going to be able to do it. So I would agree with Monica. Under the circumstances, dissolve it, but have whatever the staff can do. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Commissioner Paris and a second by Commissioner May. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Opposes, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, I appreciate that. The other thing is, the Daytona Beach Police Department, they put out a reel on Facebook about how to identify AI scams. If you get a chance, go on their Facebook page and check it out because it is very interesting. With the age of AI right now, we could be getting phone calls, we could be getting emails, they could be just, pretending to be somebody else, but it was a really informative reel on how and what you should look for. And maybe if our communications department could share it on our social media too, I think it'd be really beneficial. So thank you to the police department for that. And I also participated in the Christmas parade. We missed you, and we missed you too. It was me, Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Reed, and Commissioner Strickland. We had a really good time. Everybody was really happy, smiling. We were able to thank some people that were out there. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. And thank you to everyone that participates in our everyday life because it really does make a big difference. And I look forward to seeing everybody else in 2026. So thank you.
And happy Kwanzaa.
And happy Kwanzaa.
Commissioner May?
Commissioner Strickland.
Commissioner Strickland?
Okay.
Do you have anything?
Nice picture.
Commissioner Strickland? We don't have anything. Okay, Commissioner May?
So it was a really long week. I kept running into Commissioner Reed in different places, one night after the next. Anyway, so I wanted to say that I enjoyed the Senior Oasis. It broke my heart that I had a twisted ankle and I was sitting there just sadly looking at the dance floor the entire night. I stayed. It was so painful as a dance instructor. It was terrible for me to watch, but everybody had a great time. I enjoyed the company of Commissioner Henry and Commissioner Reed. We had a nice little chat while we were there, and really, really good job. Everybody looked happy. And then also, again, Saturday, more events, and then also Sunday, more events. And then Monday, I went to the Women's Advisory Group. Everybody was well dressed. They had a great time. I just want to say that I did win a basket. I won a basket. It was a blanket, yes. And as soon as I left, I didn't want to say this there, but when I left, I spoke with the city manager and I said I can't accept it. And the reason is that I bought it with city funds. And so I didn't want to say that publicly. So I let Miss Betty know that hopefully they would return to whomever they wanted to give that to. And so that was that. But it was a very entertaining week, and it's not over yet. So I really look forward to working with all of you again in 2026. And I just want to say the staff has done a lot of work all year long, and I know they're tired. So I hope that they take a well-deserved break and rest. And to everybody, I say compliments of the season. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner May. Mr. Manager? Mr. Gross?
No.
And I have no comments. I'd just like to wish my colleagues a Merry...
We have historic preservation after you. I had a comment on mine.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'd just like to wish my colleagues a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we have... Go ahead, Commissioner Paris. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is a big tradition, but starting January 8th is the Mayor's Fitness Challenge, and we're going to also be celebrating 150 years of Daytona Beach. So $20 to participate. It's a 10-week program, and you could register on daytonabeach.gov /activities. Thank you.
And Commissioner
Yes, Madam
Reed.
Chair, I neglected to mention that on January 10th is our second annual MLK Health and Resource Fair that we'll be sponsoring. It will be at Daisy Stocking Park, and the second meeting of the Mayor's Fitness Challenge will be there to kick it off. We met today, and I think we have about 30 vendors that are coming to provide something health related. The National Panhellenic Council will be providing backpacks and resupplying young people with school supplies, because as you know, that everybody gives school supplies in August, and those children use those things. So we'll be supplying those at that park. So it will be from like 8 o'clock until 1 on January 10th.
Okay, Mr. Manager?
Yes, also we have the historic preservation presentation by Doug Gutierrez and also David Waller.
Good evening, Doug Gutierrez, dining
Good evening.
manager, and oh.
You can talk.
Back in July 2023, the historic board came up with the idea of identifying, using identifying markers for the historic districts. I'm going to start with just the two of them, the local ones, Seabreeze and South Beach Street. We went through several discussions on what to do. David Waller said we can't really put separate signs because we don't own all the right-of-ways. So we came up with toppers. We looked at toppers from all the different cities in Florida, and we settled on one that we thought would look good. It had the city seal on it, and we were ready to go, and we have a new city seal or a new logo. And so the talented staff of Susan Saborn's staff came up with signage with the new logo. Didn't go over well with the historic board because it was modern. This is historic. Didn't go well. And Commissioner Parrish came up with a great idea of just don't use logo. Just have Seabreeze and South Beach Street Historic District and use that. So Susan's staff came up with more choices and unanimously agreed on, I don't know if you have a picture of it, but it's brown and gold, or brown and yellow, and we don't have it. And now we had locations too settled. There's gonna be 5 in South Beach Street, 6 in, yeah, there we are. Yeah. Okay, so just strategic corners and identify the local historic districts. So I guess this time we just want to be able to get the city commission's blessing on doing the signage. I know you might encounter other communities who want to do the same thing. This is exclusive to the historic districts, and many of those communities are in that district too. So it would be for all those communities that are in there. And that's pretty much it.
So the white is just to highlight. The sign is the brown, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
It's sit on top of street signs.
Go ahead.
Doug, can you explain the different levels of historic districts?
Yeah, we have 2 types. We have the local historic districts, Seabreeze and South Beach Street. Seabreeze is actually 2 districts in one. You have a local, and then the larger portion of that is National Register. Historic Preservation Board is responsible for the local districts as far as any kind of additions or changes to contributing structures. And the National Register District, we don't really have much say so unless they get a grant from the state or federal, for historic preservation, and then they have to follow that. So we have about 7 national districts and 2 local.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments, discussion? No? Did you want to say something? Oh, okay. So, well,
I could just add to this.
go ahead, Mr. Waller.
I think the advisory board has done a really good job of putting this program together, and what I had talked to Doug about and asked Mr. Fiacher permission to do is to get the policy board to make a decision whether we're going to install this signage, and truly is on the basis that we get asked often on our side in Public Works to recognize neighborhoods. Lots of neighborhoods feel like they should be recognized with special signage, whether they're entryways or for other means, and our consistent answer is that we don't provide neighborhood signage. And so if the commission would like to follow their recommendation, the advisory board, we don't have any objection to doing so. But we'd like that direction to come from you guys so that we continue to be able to put the brake on other neighborhoods self-declaring that they have some need for special signage, and leave that role to the commission.
Mm-hmm. We just did something like this through Midtown, didn't we? Some type of signage?
We haven't done anything specifically in Midtown. I know they.
There's some kind of boards that are up, like historical boards of signage.
Oh, we did the Black Historical Trail.
Okay, historical trail. Okay.
Recognize specific locations of interest within the community. Yeah, those are some neat signage that we did there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is signage that would specifically identify geographic areas. And a lot of neighborhoods have names assigned to them because they were platted that way, or they've grown attached to some boundary that they've been assigned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is different, but we were looking for some direction from the commission so that we can tell other folks who approach us and ask for special signage that the commission has made this decision, and they're welcome to contact their commissioner if they feel like they raised to that level.
So mine would be Midway and Newtown, which is now Midtown. I like it. I think the citizens are taking pride in where they live, and they want to maintain some type of historical relevance. And I move that we accept these signs, these historical signs.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Reed and a second by Commissioner Paris. Do we have any more discussion, or any residents want to have comment on this? Okay, looks like none. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes.
Aye.
A.
A. And I guess that motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Hey, it says A. Now we're here from our wonderful residents of Daytona Beach.
Right. Our first speaker tonight is John Navarra, and on deck is Gwen Chester.
Okay, first, happy holidays. And I'd like to inform you tonight about 2 very important bills in the legislature, again in the legislature, and they affect the most vulnerable people in our community. And that is Senate Bill 40 by Senator Barbara Sharif and House Bill 163 by Representative Felicia Robinson. And what the legislation does is it requires that for Medicaid, plan beneficiaries have access to network providers during state holidays, outside regular business hours, and all day on weekends. And the managed care plans under Medicaid would also have to have a database of locations, hours, and specialties of what is available for people and their families. And so we may take it for granted if we have private insurance through our employers, that we can go to a emergent care or different facility for our health care and not the emergency room, and not realize that some of the most vulnerable residents in our community may not get those options. And so this is a very important bill, I think, and I have advocated myself to Representative Partington and Senator Wright to vote on these bills. And in last session, last year, the House bill, similar House bill, was voted in unanimously, but the Senate bill was not even given a hearing. And I think this is very important for many of our residents. And as you've seen on the news, access to health care with the Affordable Care Act, the subsidies maybe not being renewed, maybe being renewed, we'll see. It's on the minds of people. And access to health care is a very big concern by the American people, and I'm sure people of our community. So please, if you can, advocate. If you do, at the legislative level up in Tallahassee, and search out about these bills and what it could do for our residents. And again, happy holidays.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker is Gwen Chester, and on deck is Felicia Benzo.
Good afternoon. I'm here representing St. Peter's Rock and Mount Minska Baptist Church. I'm the secretary as well as the church clerk. It's been brought to my attention on several different occasions about the people that's speeding down Rose Street going the wrong way, and some just naturally running from the police or whatever the case may be. But the last 3 occasions, 2 children almost got hit. Sunday, the apostle was standing outside and somebody almost hit him. He's 90 years old. It shook him up to the point where he was standing there talking to me and he was shaking and he was saying, "This is unacceptable. Please go to the city hall." I understand about the situation about the speed bumps and everything, but if there's any way possible, the city could put something out there to slow them down, to keep them from flying down that street. Most of the children that's out there, they're playing, they're not aware of the traffic and whatever the case may be. They need to be protected, and we need to be the ones to protect them. And happy holidays.
Ma'am, did you say Rose Street?
Yes, sir, 331 Rose Street.
Are there any bumps there now?
Thank you.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
There's nothing there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Felicia Benzo, and on deck is Fred Coulter.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Felicia Benzo. I actually am a resident of Daytona, but my program, Catalyst Global Youth Initiatives, serves all of Volusia County. We're in all six of your schools, including Mainland and Campbell. The reason why I'm here today is because we met with your manager as a group called WIOC, Youth Organization Coalition. It is a group of about 42 organizations that serve the children of Volusia County. And we collaborate to address multiple things that we're dealing with as organizations. We are dealing with funding and asking for funding from the schools, from the cities, from the county, because we do a lot of work. And I'm here to speak about one particular group that I'm very concerned about, and that is the group 15 to 18. I know that you have a lot of these programs, Christmas time, doing all this stuff. Is not serving that group. They're more interested in some things that are happening to them, like they don't have any money. Their families don't have any money. And for the past 3 years, we were not able to do our job prep program. It serves them very well, and they've been asking us to do it. If I have to just do one part of the program here in Daytona, 30 kids, 15 to 18, during the summer for 12 weeks. First 6 weeks, training, interviews, resumes, bios, all that kind of stuff that they need, dress and appearance and finance, etc. The next 6 weeks is actually training on a job situation. with one of the businesses and the hospitals that I know we can get to have them actually in a work experience and give them a stipend of $1,500. It gives them confidence so that they can go back out and get a job. Many of them get a job by the first semester of the next school year. It gives them money so they can help their family. It gives them money so they can buy the things that they need to look decent, like get a haircut, like get some clothes, have underwear, and things of this sort. I'm asking you. I sent a letter to each one of the commissioners, and that reminds me, Monica. Where's Monica?
Right there.
Ah, there you are. You look different on the TV. Monica Parris, thank you for your response. I'm asking you. We met with the city manager, and he said, start with the discretionary funds that you all have. I want to ask you again to help me help these children. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
happy holiday to all of you. Wish I could sing. I would sing. Okay,
Thank you,
thank you
ma'am.
again.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Fred Coulter, and on deck is John Nicholson.
Fred Coulter from the wilds of DeLand. When I first started in the budget business, my boss took me aside and explained to me there is no such thing as a budget emergency. And if you've ever read our emergency declaration, so you'll see that one of the clauses is, we don't care about the budget, you can fix it later. Ben has it worded nicely, but that's what it boils down to. So when City Hall closes because of a hurricane, I get to go home and relax on the couch. Except I don't. I have the local news on, constantly listening for those magic words, Daytona Beach Pier. Why? Because that's the most expensive disaster I can think of happening when a hurricane hits. Now, I've passed out a list of what the local reserve requirements are. Our reserve requirement in the city is lower than everyone else around. We're only at 10%. That's about $10 million. Replacing the pier, which would be one example, would cost more than that. And I know that if I came back to work, Mr. Feach would look at me and say, we got to buy a pier. And I'd say, we just don't have it. Our reserve level is really, really low compared to everybody else. I'm going to send Letitia the link because no one wants to type that thing that's at the bottom of there to get to the folder. That's where everybody else's reserve policies are kept. I've been reading them. Several of them sit there and claim that the GFOA has about a 2-month requirement, plus or minus. I can't find that on the GFOA website. I've seen a lot of people that like at least 25% or more. We have 10% for the governmental funds, and we have no reserve requirement for the funds that have an R&R account, an R&R fund, which means water and sewer and stormwater. They don't have any reserve requirement according to us. Reserve requirements set by the commission. I was actually involved in bringing it down to 10%, but it came from Mr. Chisholm, the previous city manager, for various reasons. I pushed for it because it gave us a wonky thing where we actually didn't hide money anymore. Because we actually put the reserve in the budget, which I was all in favor of and I'd been pushing since I got here. But to get that in there, I had to accept and promote a 10% reserve requirement. And now that I'm no longer working, I can actually sit there and go, that is really, really low. And the bad news is fixing it would be really difficult to do because $10 million is about $1 million. If you wanted to bring it from 10 million to 25 million, 25%, you'd have to increase taxes by $1.5 million per year or cut 15 million of spending out of the general fund, which would be even more painful. So I'm not going to recommend any way of fixing it. I'm going to say just please look at the reserve level and think, is this really where we want to be? Reserves are a form of insurance. It's not just money you've got hidden in your pocket. And it's insurance that actually pays you back in interest because it is sitting in the bank. So please think about your reserve levels.
And Letitia, Fred, and I agree with you. And you know, I brought this up to you before about the reserves. So,
As an employee, I work for the city manager.
so thank you.
Our next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Krista Goodrich.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. I was here before Fred, and I was here when it was higher. We do need to raise it, not all at once. So if you would, just incrementally raise it. As I remember back when Chisholm got here, we had like 27% tax increase because we've been doing rollback. Well, we don't want to do that. But if we can do it incrementally, it would be a lot easier for everybody, but it has to be done. Secondly, I would ask that the TV be replaced over here. It's been 2 months, and it's very difficult at my age to see the TV at the far end. So again, I would ask that the TV be replaced. And then lastly, I had about 6 items. I'm going to go down to 1, and I brought it up multiple times over the years, is that we always put things off. We don't look at things on a regular basis. And this came up at the last meeting, and we had all this foo-far, and all the cameras are giving us a bad name over the P cards and over the car allowance. Well, this goes back 30 years. When Chisholm first started, we looked at the rentals of city property. We hadn't looked at it for 30 years, and he decided it was time to look at it. So we've been doing this for a long time. We had not looked at our impact fees for 17 years. 30 years for the car allowance, 17 years for the P card. We're doing this on a regular basis, and it makes us look bad. So I'm asking you to look at all the things that we have, and on a regular basis, every 5 years, look at it, because we didn't look at the P card. Nobody thought to look at it. So it kind of slid under the radar, and it gave us a bad name. It went on all the news, and it was not good. So I'm asking you to have each department look at the major things, and regularly, not everybody in the same year. So every 5 years, somebody different looks at something that we have to cover to make sure that we are kept up to code, up to the current standards, et cetera, because we don't want to go through what we just went through with the P card and the car allowance. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Krista Goodrich, and on deck is Thomas Russell.
Good evening, commissioners, and boss lady power tonight on the dais. So pretty awesome to see all you ladies. Nothing against the men, they're amazing too, but it was fun to watch all the ladies. Monica, I wanted to say thank you for bringing up again the wraps on the boxes and the lights, the string lights. The first time I brought that up was in 2017, so just a short 8 years ago. And in that time, I've traveled to places like Sandestin, Panama City Beach, Miami, St. Pete, a myriad of other cities that also are impacted by hurricanes and are able to pull off string lights. So hopefully in the next 8 years, we'll be able to see string lights, but really I'm hoping it's sooner than that. I also appreciate in the CRA meeting that you talked about cleaning up the beach side because it is desperately needed, and I thought the price was outstandingly high as well. Commissioner Mayor today can too. Thank you for noticing the closing costs being outrageous and bringing that to everyone's attention. And thank you guys for backing that because it was really high. But really what I'm here for is neither of those things. What I'm actually here for today, oh, I didn't give my address. It's Krista Goodrich, 2800 South Peninsula, is the South Atlantic redevelopment area. Goes just a little past Silver Beach. And I'm curious if we could possibly expand that. My office is located just south of that, but we stop it and we've got maybe 5 or 6 blocks before we hit Daytona Beach shores. And that area is just as dilapidated as the rest of the beachside areas. And if we expanded that area, I might be able to do fun things like add a beautiful mural to my building and do some beautification that if I was just 4 small blocks to the north, I'd be able to do. You guys have seen what I've done in the city in other areas, so you know I actually would do that. So I don't know what the process is to expand a redevelopment area, but the South Atlantic area would be a great place to expand just a few blocks. And then lastly, I was enjoying a Saturday night reading the Land Development Code, as I frequently like to do, because that's a fun activity. And I noticed that several of the boards, like the Economic Development Board and maybe some other boards, I didn't write them all down, but do require a member of the Volusia County School Board, which, full disclosure for anyone listening, I am on the Volusia County School Board, to be actually sitting and present on the board. So I checked with the school board to say, am I missing something? Was I supposed to know about this? And they shared that we've never had someone be asked to be on these boards. So I think we maybe would look at the land development code and see which boards do require that a school board member be on there. And if you're looking for a volunteer, I recommend the one that's in this district. And then I did have one other thing I said last thing, but I think to answer your question about the ADUs, I believe the process is that it needs to be an affordable housing unit to get the waiver of the impact fees. And so an ADU typically doesn't qualify, but can with certain parameters.
Yeah, if I just may correct you a little bit, it doesn't waive impact fees. It waives some other fees. It's in the ordinance that we have, but it doesn't waive impact fees.
I believe there's an option. You might be right, I might be wrong.
I've just looked at it. I don't think that's correct as it relates to the redevelopment areas. The county council has control over the boundaries. They haven't generally been willing. I don't think they've been changed since they were adopted, but it's a reasonable question to ask.
Okay, so it's county council I need to go speak to
It
about
is.
that. Okay.
It's both.
Okay.
It's us and them.
Okay, perfect.
Mr. Gross, I had a question too. When she asked to extend the CRA, doesn't it have to be approved by the county?
That's what you just said.
Yeah, okay. Yep. You just, sorry.
Thank you guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Our next speaker is Thomas Russell, and on deck is Lakeisha Hollins.
Good evening, Tom Russell, 603 North Beach Street, the Blue Road CRA area, if any of you don't know that. I understand what a tough job you guys have. I wouldn't want it. You've got people wanting something every other day. You're trying to do things right by everybody. You've got certain rules you've got to work by, and you've got certain monetary constraints. But each and every one of you that's a commissioner has a responsibility beyond that, and that is to see to it that the monies in this city are spent correctly. Now, no one can look at every budget item. I don't care what it is. If you have a home budget, you know how much you're spending for groceries, how much your gas is, how much your insurance is, because you're paying that bill. As commissioners, you are counting on other people to give you the correct information. I've watched this CRA for the better part of 5 years. Nobody gives a crap. You guys rubber stamped it every year. I do not have the total, including the last 2 years, but out of 2019, 2020, through 2004, there was collected for that Blue Road CRA $1,230,000. And that doesn't count the last 2 years. The interesting thing about it is TIF money, which is credit for taxes, were $181,000. Grants, $19,998. Now, you don't have to be a mathematic genius. That comes out to $214,000. The majority of all the money spent, someone within the city engineered this to take and load this CRA with payroll expenses, electric. And they only did one grant. How could you have all these expenses? Nobody goes there. So, had somebody looked at this a little closer, you probably wouldn't be doing all this cover-up stuff getting uncovered. I'm sorry, all these things getting uncovered with your credit cards and this and that. It's a culture. Somebody figures a way to move the money. I don't know who it is. The mayor is responsible for the CRA. The commissioners have to approve it. You're the ones that are responsible for this. You're rubber stamping things. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks.
Our next speaker is Lakeisha Hollins, and on deck is Dr. Ruth Plummer.
I was at my name's Lakeisha. I have a business, Cradles of Greatness Child Care Facility at 1067, but I too was in the meeting with Dr. Plummer and Dr. Benzo. We was a collaboration of about 25 organizations that do things here in Volusia County. And my question is, I want to know where the funding. Like, I sent emails to you, Commissioner Henry. I don't get responses, but I just want to know, like, how do we plug in? Like, I don't know if it's training, workshops, or anything to show how we can get access to funding. Like, we do so much on the ground, and it's other people that's actually coming in zones that I've been in for over 10 years, and now they're getting funding, and they just got there. So my concern is I'm very passionate about what we do. We cover from A to Z. We cover from elementary to the elderly, all of us together. But we understand that there's not anything for nonprofit, but we do a lot of outreach. So if it's the verbiage or if it's trainings or something we can get to show how we tap into what's going on with the city to make sure that we're making an effect on our people as well, in our communities and better in our communities. So that's my question is, how do I want to go into 2026 being plugged in to be able to help? We're already doing the work. So if we're doing the work over here, somebody else doing the work over there, we're covering about 25 organizations. So we're doing a lot of work. And so we just need to know, how do we access the funding? If it is funding, what do we do? What do we not do? We just need to know the terminology. And how do we make this work in our community?
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. Ruth Plummer, and on deck is Emily Nice.
Good evening. Thank you so much for letting me be here and have a voice tonight. I too work with a young lady, Ms. Hollis. I'm here from Free Spirit Evangelistic Outreach. We are a nonprofit organization here in Daytona. My office is located at 132 West International at the Work Pro. I am state certified through the city, through the state to do domestic abuse. We have a real problem here about domestic abuse. The people that come to me is court ordered. Therefore, we have went through a lot to be trained for this. It's a 29-week program that we conduct in the court send them and the judges send them. We would like to expand that to the families because I'm getting younger adults, 19, 18, 20, with families. So we too would like to have some funding to be able to go. We went into the projects. We gave a program. We know how to do the work. We just need some money. And I wrote myself this week, I sat down and I said, I am 78 years old, and why am I still doing this? I could be home watching HGTV. But instead, I got so many grandchildren and great-grandchildren and children everywhere, people. I love God, people. So I'm still out here at 78. Even the night out here, because I want you all to know that I'm still out, my boots on the ground. I got some, and I'm gonna use what I got, and we just need a little money. So I would like for you all, if y'all could find something. We are state certified. We ain't under the cover. We state certified. We work with the judges. I work with the attorneys. I work with the court system. And we are out there every day working. So if you all could find a little something for us, I'll stretch it. I come from the old school. I know how to take a little bit and stretch it. So if y'all give me a little bit, I'll make it work. So thank y'all so much. Thank you.
Do you have information?
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there is right here. It gives you a little bit of, I just brought that, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. You'll see, we got mental health. I work with professional people, all types of people. We make this thing work on an everyday, down to earth.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Emily Nice, and on deck is Doyle Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to give you a quick update on A1A. I'm still receiving a lot of questions about it. The changes have been varied. This is a $20.5 million project paid entirely by FDOT, not the city. The project completion is the fall of 2026. As many of you know, the first design had some problems, and I just wanted to share with you that the reason FDOT chose those particular designs of the curved streets and the grassy medians that came out from the sides of the road was because these features were part of a new FDOT study that was very successful in other tourism towns in Florida. They reduced the accident rates, improved safety, so they tried to do the same thing here in Daytona Beach. But our city is quite unique, has different customs of driving, and so these frustrations were shared with Commissioner Cantu, who listened to our community, businesses, investors, residents, and she put together a 19-page report, successfully worked with the FDOT officials, and they were gracious enough to agree to make changes according to what our local residents wanted. So I'm happy to say that I'll go through some of the features that we'll be getting, just in case you get the questions, because right now it still is in process. They will be repaving all of the roadways, including new reflectors. The core tourist area will be completed first due to the pedestrian event volume. We're getting wider sidewalks. They've removed or softened all the curves in the traffic lanes. They removed the grassy rolled shoulders. They added more crosswalks with pedestrian activated signals for a total of 35. Some are raised crosswalks, which are so much more safe. They've upgraded the curb ramps for ADA. We have new traffic signal enhancements. We have lighting enhancements. We also have active speed signs telling you how fast or slow you're going. They're lowering the speed limit to 30 miles an hour, and we're getting new drainage improvements. And major underground construction was done at Main Street and Auditorium. And by the way, for the future, commissioners and mayor, please consider the new landscaping that will be needed for phase 2. It's all being redesigned, and it would be nice if some contributions were made by the city to enhance it. Thank you, and have a very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Our final speaker tonight is Mr. Doyle Lewis.
Good evening, Commission. First thing I want to say is Merry Christmas, because this will be next year when you see me again. The second thing I want to talk about is the Vector truck. Very important to make those drains clean. If you don't know what a Vector truck is, it's a lot more than you think. I was on one for the county for about 6 weeks. I'm used to the other types of Vector trucks. The newer ones seem to be better, but they bounce a lot the way they're engineered. Very good truck. And if you hit the areas of the drain systems when you know a storm's coming, you can get the water out of the bigger areas and get them transferred out of there. And then that will allow more water to be able to go into those systems. Now, back to the playgrounds. Just make sure those things have a long lifespan. More people use them than you think. The signage on Seabreeze and South Beach Street for the historical district sound great. $20.5 million on A1A. I actually liked the plan that the guy did for 30 years, and he retired. I was in Ormond Beach when he designed that, and he put that system together for A1A in Ormond Beach and Daytona. I was very disappointed to see all that money wasted putting them in and taking them back out. But they did a redesign, which she just said. So the people will get what they want, no matter what, at the people's cost. And that's what I've seen. Rose Street by the church, that should have had traffic slowed down years and years and years ago. I don't know how old that church is, but it seems to be pretty old. And I believe that's about it. 35 crosswalks along A1A. That sounds great. I like that walking district. And the automobiles like the sidewalks too. And you need to keep people watching that because I've had them come after me on my bicycle. I really have. Now, I said Merry Christmas, but don't forget New Year's. The year's almost over. Thank you.
Hang on. Can I do? Yeah. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and good night, Daytona.